I remember thinking to myself, is this the way I will raise my children? What if people were allowed to make more personal decisions about their lives? Personal decisions like clothing, hairstyles, and other small expressions of identity. I want to express myself the way I feel on my inside. What is wrong with that? Must I follow a manuscript? Why do these things carry so much weight in determining spirituality? My hair determines my spirituality. My earrings determine my spirituality. My clothing determine my spirituality. Those questions stayed with me and makes me to question and ponder when I became a parent. How am I going to navigate all this? What will I tell my children? Today, I want to speak from a different place. Not just from my upbringing, but from my experiences as a parent of nearly 3 decades. So I know what I'm saying. I didn't just wake up today and become a parent. It's almost 30 years of parenting. And I want to reflect on something very important. What does godly parenting really mean? When a lot of people say, I want to be a godly parent, I want to parent my children in a godly way. What does this really mean? And how can we truly parent well in a way that brings guidance, love, wisdom, and healthy freedom? We don't want to continue to raise children that when you ask them, why did you do this? Oh, it's the devil. No wonder Nigeria, my country, isn't getting any better. Because people think by telling that it is the devil. We want to raise responsible children. When we think about godly parenting, when I think about godly parenting, is it just about rules and restrictions? Don't do this, don't do this, don't do that, don't do this, don't do that. Or is it about understanding connection? How we connect with each other? I'm speaking now. Are you listening? And helping our children grow into responsible, thoughtful individuals. That is how I'm raising my kids, to be responsible. I even talk about it. Who want to be responsible for the dishes? Who want to be responsible for sweeping the floor? I don't want to raise children who don't know how to be responsible. And I'm sure most of the parents watching me today, you also want to raise responsible children, right? If I'm speaking your mind today, please put it in the comments. These are the reflections I want to share today. I want to contribute my part, and this is my part to the world I want my even children and unborn children to live in. So I want to leave you with this question. What does godly parenting mean to you? You watching me today, what does godly parenting mean to you? Is it taking away your children's phone? Is it restricting them to just what you think it's right? Even your adult children. What does godly parenting mean to you? In America, when a child turns 18, if they have been on your health care insurance, they begin to send them their own papers for their insurance. They are no longer on your insurance. They are because why? They are considered an adult. And if you have raised your kids well to be responsible, guiding them each step of the way, they know what to do and how to even do it better. So today I'm asking you, and I'm asking again, what does godly parenting mean to you? Is it depriving your children of friendship with others? And how are you practicing it in your own home? How are you practicing godly parenting in your home? In my own home, I lead by examples. I don't want my children to tell lies. I tell them the whole truth. I'm going to my night shift. I am heading to my night shift. I'm not going to a party. I'm not going to an hotel to sleep in with someone else. Little things like this. I am going out. I tell my children the exact place I'm going, the exact location. And therefore, it's not hard for my children to share with me their location. In fact, I will burst your bubbles. I gave my children liberty to use their phone, to use the internet. I teach them what is good to do and what is acceptable. And I let them know the repercussion of doing unhealthy things online and how it may affect them now and how it may affect them in the future. Those are the things we should be teaching. If you are teaching your children in this way, I'm telling you, you won't be depending on any church to raise your kids for you. When we lack in our parenting duties, when we lack in our parenting responsibilities, it is then we will be looking up to a spiritual leader to help us raise our children. It is then we will be looking up to a spiritual entity, be it schools, be it a church, to help us raise our kids. Sit with your kids. Tell your children what they need to know. Don't feel like, oh, it is too much. My oldest is 25, my youngest is 12. I raise them based on those ages, and as they continue to grow, I tell them what they need to know. The sex education you need to tell your children. You refuse to educate them about it, the school is going to teach them anyways. And they will hear it. Maybe the school will even teach them in the wrong way, that you as parents would have done better. These days, the world isn't changing. It is just advancing. And as parents, we need to advance in our parenting skills. I was able to parent easily because, guess what? I love my parents and how they parent us, but there are things I wanted to do differently. This were in my mind, and I carried it into my marriage that no, I want to raise my kids well. I want to be able to answer all of their questions to my best ability. Does that mean I have answers to every question they ask me? Many times I don't even have an answer. But guess what? I'll tell them I will look into it. Let me give you this example. When my oldest son wanted to pierce his ears, I wasn't sure. I wasn't ready for it. It came as a shock. It came unexpectedly. I didn't want to confuse my son. He could tell at that time that I was shocked. He could tell that I wasn't expecting it. And this is one child that asks a lot of questions wants to know more about our families, both sides, and see what he wants to do some things differently. And at a point, I told him, because he keep pestering about it, and this son is almost out of the house going to college. And I remembered while going to college in Nigeria and coming back home for holidays, and some of my friends will be sharing what goes on their campuses, and now some of the children in the church do something different when they are on campus. Those stayed with me. And I remembered it. I said, this child is about leaving home. I would rather love him to do what he wants to do while at home, and I see with my eyes, than to be shocked. So what did I do? To allow my son to do what he wanted to do. Because now he's considered an adult. And an adult child should be able to make his or our own decisions. But here's what I did as a parent, so that my son is informed before he made that decision. As a godly parent, this is what I did to help my son to be informed. And then he can now make his decision, either to pierce or not pierce. What did I do? I read about how the society viewed this if a man pierced their ears. This encouraged me to have an informed session of conversation with my son. Informed means you have understanding. You have read about these things. You have understood the thing. And then I sat with my son. I told him what I have read and understood about it. And then let him know that in my family, we are prone to keloid. My dad had a keloid on his chest. Suddenly, it appeared on my chest. Right here. It appeared on my chest. I'm still going for the treatment. Suddenly, after my dad died, it showed up on my chest. So I told my son, and even my daughters that choose to pierce their ears, not that God is angry at them. No, God is angry at anybody. God has given you the will. God has given you the heart to know what is good. We all have instinct. We have that little voice inside of our hearts that guides us into this journey of life. Why should any church now want to control, sit in the affair of our hearts? So I asked this question today. What does godly parenting mean to you? You that you are watching this video. What does godly parenting mean to you? And I want to know how are you practicing it in your own home? I've shared with you one of the ways I've been practicing godly parenting in my home. Even though some people believe I'm not a Christian anymore, it's up to you. I'd really love to hear your thoughts. Let's learn from one another. That is how we can grow. And that is why I am on this channel, to make us reflect, to make us heal and grow together. Thank you all for watching this video today.